Alright guys, time for an update. What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Anderson. Today, hitting you guys with some more updates on the CLK55K. Go bird, chill. Alright, so today I was in the design mood, I guess, and I made myself some rubber cork gaskets. I'm gonna go ahead and cut to some footage of the whole kind of process, and I'll walk you guys through it. It's a bit time consuming, but pretty happy with the results, and this is very cost effective. So catch you guys in a second. Hello from the future and the past. I'm gonna show you guys what I did with this whole laser cutting process. Just kind of give you a glimpse into it, and then we'll jump back to the car and me in the past, future. Okay. All right, so right here you can see my big mess of many tries. Let's count them: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There was 9 at home, and then 10, 11 are sitting in the laser printer right now. So let me show you guys. All right, so we have this gasket material. It's just a rubber cork gasket. It's 1/16 thick, and then I have, this is the other side that I need to do still, which is the driver's side. And then throttle body gasket, I'm also gonna make one for it, just because why not? And yeah, that's the material. So the basic process was put this on a nice white background, took a nice clean photo of it, brought it into Photoshop, and then ended up taking that, cleaning it up in Photoshop, then taking it to Illustrator, doing the outlines, making the cut lines, and then bringing it into our laser printing software to get it cut. So this is our machine right here in the shop, whole workshop by the way. But this is a Glowforge machine. It is kind of like the DIYer's version of a laser cutter. Alright guys, so you just saw all the behind the scenes of the process of making these rubber cork gaskets, and all the stencils that it took to get there. It was quite a few, and took me kind of the whole work day running back and forth between my classes and getting some free time. But very happy with the results. It is pretty much a perfect match. It's not aligned perfectly right now, but pretty much is spot on the money. And it took, like I said, a lot of tries, but we got it. And the reason that I went with this, actually, I don't know if I mentioned in the last video, but me and Josh were talking about it in the last video, or during me recording the last video. Josh and I, Mercedes Swap Shop Josh, were talking about this, and he said he always runs the Needs Wing gaskets, and of course I've heard of Needs Wings before, and checked them out and saw that the reason that they designed them was to hold more boost pressure. And it's not like I'm going for a crazy amount of boost pressure on this thing, but I just figured, you know, I can buy a roll of cork for relatively cheap, and then I can make as many as I want once I design them. So took the time, did some kind of photo to digital tracing, and then I had to do some Photoshop and Illustrator magic. And then it took me a long time to get the measurements right and dialed in, because our laser printer and the digital version weren't matching up like image wise. So even though I would align the stencil perfectly to the actual gasket sitting in the Glowforge machine, it would still end up cutting bigger, even though the trace lined up exactly perfectly. So it was odd. So I kept having to scale down, scale down, scale down, scale down, little by little, and then eventually got to this final design. And I wish that they were a mirror image, because then I could just print another one, but the driver's side is actually different, so tomorrow I'm gonna have to do that one. Other things that I've figured out since I last talked to you guys about the build is that our throttle body is actually indeed an 80mm. And there's a little T-barb that I made last time. We're gonna use that to run the PCV lines. So yeah, that was, didn't know for sure, and the Y pipe that I have is actually also from measurements the right piece, which I wasn't convinced of. Let me hit the lights real quick. yeah, I wasn't sure if this was the right piece because it just felt like it was just kind of floating on there. The tabs don't really align. So I'm not sure what's going on with that as far as tabs go on the throttle body, but it is good news that it at least fits in here. 80 millimeters is about 3.1 inches. So I've debated about trying to build kind of my own setup, but for the time being, I think I'll just keep it simple and run what I have. And then later down the line, I can build an intake setup. I won't ditch the stock air boxes wherever I put them. Where did I put those? Oh yeah, I won't ditch the stock air boxes. I still want to run those, but you know, maybe the you know, actual inlets and then the feed to the boxes I could change up, but it's not the biggest thing on the priority list right now, so we'll skip over that. The surge tanks, one of you guys mentioned it and I had already been thinking about it because honestly the paint on here, it's not in the best shape anymore. It probably was at the time. I don't know if it was powder coated or just painted, but they got it kind of everywhere inside, and like some spots inside you can tell that like big chunks of it have chipped off, which is, I mean, it's not crazy, but it's not the best thing to be throwing into a motor. So I would like to strip these down. I have some aircraft stripper before they stop selling the good stuff. I still have a good big can of the good stuff, and I can strip these down. I need to double check what material these are. I believe they're aluminum, but I will double check because if they're magnesium, got to be careful with stripping them. I'll have to neutralize it really quick if I do, but I think if I could just get them down and if they're clean underneath, I would just hit them with a nice matte clear coat and keep them the factory, you know, just silver, raw silver. And if they're not too pretty as a silver, then I can always paint them silver. But I think that'll be a cleaner look, a little more OEM look on this to match the rest of the motor. And to be honest, I spent most of the day taking care of the gaskets at work, and then when I got home, busy with other stuff, so I don't have much more daylight right now to make progress. But I did want to say I'm going to be making these gaskets, and once I get them fine-tuned and I can test them for myself, I mean, I don't think there's much to test, to be honest. I think they're pretty much good to go the way I did them, but I'll still get them running and verify everything's working. And once I do so, I think I'm gonna end up putting these for sale. If anyone's interested, I can sell pairs of them for, you know, probably 25 bucks, and it will still be kind of cost efficient and worth my time, and it'll be super good deal for you guys. So M113K guys are already interested, so I will get a set of those from buddy locally, and we can get those mocked up as well. Man, the birds are tripping right now. What the heck? Anyways, but yeah, I can help you guys get a cost-effective option, hold a little more boost pressure, and in turn, it would make me super happy as well to get an opportunity to have some more support for the channel. If you didn't already know as well, I should mention it. We do have a merch site. It's andersen.co. We've had a lot of sales on it in its history so far, and I don't try to advertise it continuously, but any little bit does help, obviously, and I still get, you know, 5-10 orders a month kind of without advertising, and I much appreciate it. So if you're invested in the channel and you want to see everything continue to grow, it really does help out. It means a lot, and it's super cool to just have things represented out there in the world that we're creating here on the channel with you guys. So yeah, just other ways to support. And I promise I won't mention it all the time. I haven't mentioned it in a video for a long time, but just throwing it out there. Other news on the same before we cut to the garage later on, most likely. Fuel pump assembly and sender unit. I have a connection that I think is going to be able to send a good bundle to us. So that is on the way. I did order that Walbro 525 that I mentioned. That was if I was going to keep the single bucket. And if I end up going to the dual bucket, then we'll just see. But I'll update you guys. Just know I'm tackling that part as well, since we're already upgrading the injectors and stuff too. Got to go through the whole fuel system. And other good news, Josh just sent out the ECU and the TCM today, so should be here soon. Really motivated to get everything sorted as good as possible so that we're at least good to run and rip this thing and be able to adjust things as we go, obviously. But as long as we can get the safety measures out of the way, oh, battery box too, can't forget that. We'll be good to at least, you know, give it some run. So let me know what you guys' recommendations are on the battery as well. It has the Group 49 in it right now, but you know, those things are crazy heavy and big, so it'd be cool to switch to, I don't know, like something, I don't know, maybe an Optima or something relatively cost efficient but smaller size and a little lighter weight. It still has a good amount of cranking amps. I know my buddy Abdallah runs the Optima and his supercharged CLK clean setup on the NA55, and he's had good experience with the Optimas. I know for a while they were kind of switch production and they weren't the best quality, but I think they have since figured out those issues with Optimas, so I feel like that could be a good option. It's pretty like universal, standard size, you can get them anywhere. So I like stuff like that because you know, parts you can find anywhere makes it easy if you got to do something on a pinch. So alright you guys, it's bright and early the next day. It's time we get these injectors out of here. Wasn't able to finish the other side of gaskets at work yet, so that'll have to wait till Monday. I'm also going to make the throttle body gasket, but yeah, we'll get to that later on. It is early and my allergies are going crazy right now, but we're going to work through it and try to get these injectors on. Alright guys, so I think all I need to get the injectors off is pop all the clips, obviously, and then 4 inverted Torx bolts. The AN lines that they have on here, I'll probably try to just disconnect from the front side of the rail here and pull up on the injectors, and then I'll see if I can get this AN line out of here. It does seem like, alright, memory card cut off I think, but if I can get this AN line out of here, the looped rail part, I will heat wrap it, and if not, it's not that big a deal. But most importantly, let's get these off. So I'm gonna grab a wrench and an inverted Torx, and let's get this thing out of here. Alright, so got E10s up here, and then I'll just use a regular wrench for the ANs. And why am I not using Milwaukee? Not sure. Let me grab it. Alright, I'm going to start trying to work all the plugs off here. I'll take them off the coil packs too. Just make it easier. Both AN lines are off. So once we get the rail pulled up, I'll see if I got enough room to actually slide that out from under the supercharger. Otherwise, like I said, we'll just leave it there. I'm gonna go ahead and pull off the back line, and then we can lift up on the rail. pull up on the rail, and then that'll give me access to the plugs that I wasn't able to reach. And go from there. Just making sure everything's out of the way. Oh, we do have one brake booster line, it looks like. Let's go ahead and ooh. Those things didn't seem like they were seated the best. We'll see. Check back in a second, guys. It's been a little difficult. I just realized something fun, guys. The reason why the injectors popped out of the rails because they don't have the safety clips on them. I just noticed that every single one of them doesn't have the safety clips on it. So good thing I have my C55 rail out right now. I can steal the safety clips off of that, order some new ones while I finish up the valve cover job on that. But that's annoying because it makes this a little more difficult than it needs to be and makes fuel pour places that it doesn't need to pour. So I'm trying to get this out of here. Give me a second. Okay, rail is free. Some of the injectors are still there, but oh boy, didn't mean to do that. Guys, the 3 injectors that were left behind are out now. These are an upgrade injector for all the NA motors, so I'll definitely keep these around, but they're too small for this setup. So let's go ahead and get these out of here. I'm gonna see right now if I can get this AN line out of here or not, and if not, no big deal, but it's worth a shot. Alright guys, so looking at this, we can definitely run it on top if we want. Obviously I can shorten up the line a little bit, so I'll probably just put some new hose on this and run it on top. If we ever had to pull the supercharger or whatever else, fuel rail is going to come off anyways, so I think this is just an easier option. Yeah, it's not as clean, I guess, but at least it's safe and easy to get to. We don't have to try to snake it through everything underneath. I could do it either way. It doesn't really matter, to be honest, but I think it'll stay cooler on top here, and it'll just be easier to manage and keep an eye on. So we'll do it that way. Alright guys, I have injector rail here. Got all the new injectors, de-electric grease, some contact cleaner, and a baggie to keep all the injectors that we pull out. So let's go ahead and get these things situated. Alright guys, stole the safety clips off the C55's rail, so we'll use it on here for now, but won't bore you guys with this. I'll just get this set and I'll catch you guys after it's all done. Alright guys, the 550s are all in. Got all the safety clips on there. Everything's situated nicely. Last thing I'm gonna do before I slap this back in is I'm gonna check what fuel pressure regulator is on there, make sure it's correct part number, and then also change the little pin for it to face the other way, because it's not in the correct direction, so it'd make it really hard to change while the rail's on. So I'll go ahead and do that as well. And reused a little box here and a little cap, so got my 430s on hand in case I ever need them for something else. Alright guys, got the fuel pressure regulator out of there. It is the correct part number. It's A11207800092. but the gasket was a little shot on it. Green one right there, so found another one that fits out of my little metric O-ring kit, and I'll pop this thing back in, a little dielectric grease. Alright guys, fuel pressure regulator is back in, and I put the clip in the right orientation. I'm not like 100,000% confident on the seal size. It was feeling like it seals, but doesn't seem quite like the exact same size as the factory O-ring, so I'll keep an eye on that definitely, and if I don't throw this in before, you know, the next few days, then I'll probably just find another O-ring for it. One other little thing I want to do right now, if you can see this little corrosion from them welding, I'm gonna go ahead and spray a little bit of a rust converter on here just to give it some coating and yeah, keep it from getting any nastier, so we'll do that. And besides that, I think we can probably pop the rail back in. Alright guys, got those all cleaned up. Let's see. But yeah, just scrub them off real quick with a little brush and put just a tiny bit of the rust reformer on there, just like a drop, to spread it all around. And I'll let this dry obviously, and I'll be good to go. Alright guys, rail is sitting in place right now. I'm gonna get all of the connectors on, and then we'll go ahead and seat it. Alright, injectors are seated. Alright guys, the last dilemma I'm trying to figure out before stopping work for now is this Y pipe is just, it's not the right one. The clips don't match up. It doesn't seat on here properly. It's like super loose even with the gasket in it. The gasket does measure 80 millimeters. The throttle body measures 80 millimeters. And the part number on the gasket seems like it's the right one, but this Y pipe is just too big. So I don't really know what to do for this situation. It literally just like floats on here, so it's not a tight seal at all, just not the right setup. So the only thing I can think of is replacing this with, you know, the silicone Y pipes, or I found a couple metal ones that I could probably make work, but it is a bit annoying because I would like to just run this setup so I can work with the stock air boxes. Whatever I find, I can make it work with the stock air boxes still, but it's just, yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of a pain. My other option is just to go a big single pipe like I have on the C55 and run it to a big air filter, but that would basically just sit right here because I don't have room to put it in the battery box like I did on the C55 obviously. So I'll try to figure something out, but I think that's where we're going to end the work for now.